The Old Testament, a foundational text for both Judaism and Christianity, serves as a historical and spiritual cornerstone. Comprising a collection of ancient scriptures, it encompasses law, prophecy, poetry, and narrative. To understand its significance, one must consider the historical context in which these texts were written. The Old Testament reflects the journey of the Hebrew people, documenting their societal, political, and religious evolution from nomadic tribes to a established nation-state, deeply intertwined with neighboring cultures of the ancient Near East. Understanding the historical context of the Old Testament is crucial as it illuminates its enduring influence on Western civilization. These texts have significantly shaped moral and legal systems, inspired countless works of art and literature, and continue to influence religious practices and beliefs worldwide. For example, the Ten Commandments have not only provided a moral framework for religious followers, but have also impacted secular legal systems, symbolizing a universal ethical code. Additionally, stories such as that of David and Goliath have transcended religious texts to become cultural metaphors for overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. The significance of the Old Testament is supported by theologians and historians alike, who argue that its narratives offer timeless insights into human nature, morality, and the divine. Yet, interpretations of the Old Testament can be diverse, often sparking debate. Some view these texts as literal historical accounts, while others consider them allegorical. The theological interpretations vary widely among different religious traditions, leading to differing doctrines and practices. Controversies surrounding the Old Testament often arise from its historical accuracy and moral implications. Critics argue about the historical veracity of certain events, such as the Exodus or the conquest of Canaan, citing a lack of archaeological evidence or conflicting historical records. Furthermore, modern readers might grapple with the moral and ethical standards depicted in these ancient texts, which can conflict with contemporary values. The Old Testament's historical context connects deeply with its narratives, providing a backdrop that enriches its stories and teachings. By understanding this context, readers can better grasp not only the internal dynamics of the text, but also their external influences on subsequent religious and cultural developments. The exploration of its historical context serves as a bridge to understanding its broader religious narratives, demonstrating how past events continue to resonate and shape beliefs today. Creation and Early Humanity, Stories of Genesis, refers to the foundational narratives found in the first book of the Bible, Genesis, which depict the creation of the world and the early stories of humanity. This section of the Old Testament serves as the prologue to the entire biblical narrative, establishing themes of divine creation, human nature, and moral values. The creation story describes how God formed the universe, earth, and all living beings in 6 days and rested on the seventh, emphasizing the power and intentionality of a monotheistic God. It introduces key concepts like the inherent goodness of creation, the special status of humanity created in the image of God, and the importance of rest and sanctity. These stories hold significant importance, as they lay the theological groundwork for the entire Judeo-Christian tradition. They address existential questions about the origins of life and the universe, the nature of humankind, and the relationship between God and humanity. Moreover, they introduce motifs of obedience, temptation, and moral responsibility, which recur throughout the Bible. Specific examples include the story of Adam and Eve, which illustrates the human proclivity towards disobedience and the resulting consequences, and the tale of Cain and Abel, reflecting themes of jealousy, sin, and redemption. In real-world applications, these stories have influenced countless cultural, ethical, and legal frameworks, shaping Western thought on morality and human rights. Opinions supporting these narratives often highlight their metaphorical and archetypal richness, providing insights into human psychology and ethics. Many view them as allegories containing timeless truths about human experiences. However, these stories also encounter challenges and controversies, particularly in the dialogue between science and religion. Literal interpretations, especially of the creation account, clash with evolutionary biology, leading to debates between creationism and scientific theories of the universe's origin. Additionally, the portrayal of gender roles and original sin in these stories invites modern scrutiny and alternative interpretations. These early Genesis narratives influence the other aspects of the Bible by setting recurring themes of covenant, fall, and redemption. They provide context for subsequent laws, prophecies, and teachings. Ultimately, the stories of Genesis offer a profound exploration of human identity and purpose, anchoring the broader theological and moral discourses of the Old Testament. As such, they remain a vital part of religious education and cultural literacy, inviting ongoing reflection and discussion. The heading "The Patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob" refers to three foundational figures in the stories of the Old Testament, often regarded as the forefathers of the Israelite nation. Abraham is celebrated for his unwavering faith in God, exemplified in his willingness to sacrifice his son Isaac, a test of devotion that underscores trust and obedience. Isaac, Abraham's son, serves as a crucial link in the generational chain, known for the blessing he receives and passes on, ensuring the continuation of God's covenant. Jacob, later named Israel, is notorious for his complex life of struggles and triumphs, including his dream of a ladder to heaven and wrestling with an angel, which symbolize his spiritual journey and the establishment of the 12 tribes of Israel. The significance of the patriarchs lies in their embodiment of faith, covenant, and divine promise, elements that are central to the overarching narrative of the Old Testament. Their stories lay the groundwork for the identity and beliefs of the Israelite people, shaping religious and cultural traditions that persist to this day. In contemporary contexts, the stories of these patriarchs offer valuable lessons in faith and perseverance. For instance, Abraham's story is often cited in discussions about the nature of faith, serving as an allegorical reference for individuals facing ethical or spiritual dilemmas. Jacob's transformation from a deceptive young man to the progenitor of a nation is frequently used as a metaphor for personal growth and redemption. Opinions on the patriarchs tend to support their statuses as paragons of faith and spiritual insight. Many scholars and theologians highlight their crucial role in exemplifying the intricate relationship between God and humanity. However, their narratives are not without challenges and controversies. Some critics point to moral ambiguities in their stories, such as Jacob's deceit in obtaining his father's blessing, sparking debates on morality and divine selection. Despite these challenges, the stories of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are intrinsically connected to the broader themes of obedience, faith, and divine covenant in the Old Testament. They influence subsequent narratives such as the Exodus and the establishment of Israel, reinforcing their role as foundational figures. By exploring their lives, we gain a deeper understanding of the intricate tapestry of human experience and divine interaction, which continues to resonate in religious and cultural discussions today. Exodus and Law. Moses and the Ten Commandments is an iconic narrative in the Old Testament that encapsulates the liberation of the Israelites from Egyptian slavery and the establishment of a covenant between God and his people through the giving of the Ten Commandments. This story is not only foundational within the religious texts of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, but it also plays a critical role in understanding moral and legal frameworks that have influenced Western society. The significance of Moses and the Ten Commandments in the context of the Old Testament cannot be overstated. The Exodus narrative represents a transformative moment for the Israelites, marking their transition from bondage to freedom and from a collection of tribes to a unified people under divine law. It underscores themes of faith, obedience, and the enduring relationship between humanity and the divine. The Ten Commandments themselves are seen as a moral compass, providing guidelines that emphasize ethical behavior, social justice, and worship. Two real-world applications highlight the enduring influence of this narrative. Firstly, the Ten Commandments have served as a foundation for many legal systems worldwide, particularly in Western cultures. These laws have influenced the development of civil laws regarding theft, murder, and perjury, shaping ethical standards that transcend religious boundaries. Secondly, the story of Exodus is invoked in various social justice movements. For instance, African American communities during the Civil Rights Movement drew parallels between their struggle for equality and the liberation of the Israelites, using Exodus as an allegory for emancipation and divine justice. While many view the Ten Commandments as a universal ethical guide, there are challenges and controversies associated with their application. Critics point out the tension between religious law and secular governance, questioning the appropriateness of religious texts informing contemporary legal systems. Others argue about the literal versus metaphorical interpretation of these commandments, debating their application in modern contexts. This narrative connects deeply with other aspects of the Old Testament, influencing stories of leadership, faith, and the covenantal relationship between God and humanity. Moses' role as a leader and lawgiver links to subsequent leaders and prophets who guide their people through trials, reinforcing the themes of divine guidance and moral responsibility. This powerful narrative not only defines a pivotal chapter in the religious history of Jews and Christians, but also continues to inspire and provoke thoughtful discussion about the role of faith, law, and ethics in our world today.